Hey guys, welcome to another top table wargaming video. This is just a kind of build with me stroke tutorial video. It doesn't go too much into detail. I'm not filming myself doing all the cutting and everything else, but I do it step by step, so by all means feel free to follow along. I kind of got the inspiration this morning, and I did it just as a little bit of a break from the mammoth task that I set myself of building 20 tables of terrain from a tournament in July, the Scouring of Cheshire. Even though it's still Lord of the Rings themed, it was just a nice small thing to do. I did want to get one of these done anyway, and Mr. Max Udenbreck, I think, is that how you pronounce it? He posted a picture up of the ruined Rohan house, which he done following my guide, which looks awesome, by the way. Great work, Max. And he done a beacon, and someone asked if I was going to do one, a tutorial for a beacon, and I was going to do one a while ago, and it just got sort of put on the back burner. And then I thought, you know what, I need a break from everything else. Why not? I'll do it. It's a small project, and I'll do it. So this is the beacon. This is actually what you'll learn to build in this video, but this specific one is going to be part of a bigger piece of scenery, but I mean these are great as objective markers, etc. So yeah, so follow the video, hope you like it, make sure you comment, let me know what you think of the video, let me know what you think of the build, and let me know how you get on if you have to go at it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Right guys, so what I've done, I've gone online and I've tried to get some resources, Google image, Gondor beacons. There's lots and lots of different styles. What I found was, depending whereabouts in Middle Earth the beacons are, and what Manish faction they sort of correspond to, there's different designs. So I've gone with the one that I think is most like Gondor, because this is going to be for Gondor terrain. Again, if you need some resource images, then just let me know and I can post some up. But just to show you what I've done, I have a look online. Some of them are quite difficult. There's not much, I have to admit. And I've kind of got this design. There's going to be 4 of these stanchions around the beacon, with a sort of sloped tiled roof on top. So that's the basic shape that we need. It's not a flat shape. Has got like it's 3-dimensional. There's 4 sides to these stanchions, but I'll tackle that at a later date. I've just got a main sort of idea of what I need to do and what I need to cut out. So I get some of my off-cut blue foam, and what I do, place it down, and I'm gonna place my drawing, which I've tried to draw to scale best I can, over the blue foam. And then I just get a pencil and I'm going to mark roughly, give or take a few mil, where it's going to be by pressing the pencil through the paper into the foam. What I'm now going to do is I'm now going to cut this foam out, and I know I've got a piece which will definitely be enough to accommodate the stanchion, and then I'll cut another 3 of them, so I have 4 altogether because there's 4 of these stanchions. So I'm going to go away and cut them out, and then I'll come back to you in a second. Hey guys, sorry, forgot to mention, for some of you guys who are pretty new to using blue foam and cutting it, etc., and you're not as confident as you will be when it comes to actually marking out and cutting blue foam, another way to help you along, and what you can start doing, is if you have some 1mm or 2mm balsa wood, is to cut yourself a template. Basically exactly the same way, just use your paper as a template over the balsa wood. What I tend to do is lie my paper on top of the sheet of balsa wood, and then I go over the drawing, pressing down firmly. That leaves a mark on the balsa wood, which you can then in turn go over with your pencil, so you get the exact same, and then just cut it out with a very, very sharp hobby knife. Again, I think I've mentioned it in another video, don't try and cut in one cut, so don't try and get all the way through the balsa wood in one cut. Score it as you go with a nice sharp hobby knife. Well, it'll take 2, maybe 3 scores with a hobby knife to get all the way through, and you'll get yourself a nice template. What you can then do with this template is just place it onto your foam, and you can use that as a nice edge on your hobby knife to cut around. So I'm going to go away. I'm not going to use that, I don't need to. I'm just going to mark straight out on the foam and cut it out, and I'll come back once I've got my 4 stanchions cut. Okay guys, so we have our foam stanchions all cut out now. As you can see, some of the edges, you can tell they're not smoothed off, they're not they still look like they've been cut, they're not rounded, etc. So there's 2 things now that we need to do with these. The first thing we need to do is sand the edges, get them nice and smooth, and the second thing is to texturize the foam. Now when it comes to sanding, these sponge sand blocks for foam I've found are the best thing you can use. You can get them in different courses. That's very fine, fine and quite harsh. Very rarely use that unless it's something quite substantial that I'm working on. Mainly the very fine and the fine. You can get them off eBay. I think it's something silly, like you can get 25 of them in a box for about £7, and they'll last you for ages if you're just using them for modelling, and they're always handy to have around anyway, so well worth looking into getting. So what we're going to do with these sand blocks is we're just going to take the edge off. Yeah, we'll just, every straight edge that you can see has been cut with your knife. We're just going to take the harshness off the corner. You don't need to press very hard. It's quite difficult doing this with the camera in front of your face, but I'm going to do a majority of it off camera. As you can see, sometimes the cut, I don't know if that's showing up on camera, is not very, it's not cut very square. So you can neaten that up like so by sanding it square. Yeah. Just get rid of all your harsh edges. Remember, these are supposed to be made out of stone. They would have been buffed and chiselled away at to get right. We know that this corner should be rounded. When you look at the pictures, you'll see what I mean. So we're just going to round the edge off like so. So do that on all of them, and then once we've done that, what we can then do to texturise them, there's different ways you can do it. You know, you can get a sculpting tool, a pencil, you can just put marks into the foam to create it. What I tend to do, I have this old base which has got some really harsh, quite large grit on it. I tend to just use this on things like this. Put it down, press down on it, and I get a nice weathered effect. So do that on them all, get them all sanded down. This part of the stanchion is too long at the minute, but don't worry about that yet. Just leave that as it is, because when it comes to offering it up, we'll trim them as needed and to suit the final build. So yeah, don't worry about that. Just get all your edges sanded down, round off this. I think from looking at the pictures, it's supposed to be like a wing. Like you get the wings on all the Gondor armour. I think it's supposed to be like a wing, but it's just made out of stone, so it's quite hard to work out exactly what it should be. But yeah, so if you just bear that in mind, and we'll come back once I've done all those. So guys, here we are. This is just to show you what one of your stanchions should kind of end up looking like in a bit of a close-up if you wanted to follow that brick pattern. You don't have to, it's entirely up to yourself. I've kind of done it to match in with the existing Gondor terrain, which I've been building for the Scouring of Cheshire tournament coming up in July. So I'm going to do the other 3 to match exactly the same. Once we've done that, we'll come back and we'll get on to the issue of the actual beacon itself and what we're going to base it on. So I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, the next step is, once you've carved all the stone effects in your stanchions, is roughly, I mean, you're going to have to go off the image that you're going off for this, but if you roughly get how they're going to sit, which is, for me, is that you measure this distance, and whatever this distance is, That's going to give you the size of the platform, and the platform is easily made. Bearing in mind that that's not the width of the platform, that's corner to corner. So that measurement from there, when it is how I want it, is 80 millimeters. As you can see, I've got 80 millimeters, and all you do is you cut yourself 2 squares, one with the right size, which is 80 millimeters corner to corner, and the other one which is about 15 mil wider all around, so that when you place on top you've got roughly a 4-5 mil step, and that's going to be the base for your beacon. So once you've done that, you stick them on top of each other and you cut the corners off the bottom piece, and what this allows you to do is butt the stanchions up, as you can see. So what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to fix all the stanchions in place and glue them in the middle. For this I'm using a hot glue gun. You can use PVA, you can use super glue if you need to. The reason I'm using a hot glue gun is because it's quick, and I'm out of super glue for the purposes of the tutorial, but I'm doing it off camera so it doesn't really matter. If you don't have a hot glue gun and you're intending to do a lot of scenery projects, I highly recommend getting one. Really useful, help a lot, and yeah, it's just quick. The glue sets within a few seconds and you can crack on. It can be a bit messy, so have a lot of paper towels around and have a bit of practice with it first. Don't go in too heavy handed because it can kind of get all over the place and you don't want to ruin the piece that you're working on. So I'm going to crack on and get the 4 stanchions up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to work on putting the actual the timber part of the beacon together, the piles of wood. So we'll come back once we get to that stage. Okay guys, next stage, as you can see, I've glued all the main components of the I don't know what you'd call it, the structure that holds the actual beacon in. I've marked some stone flags into the base, and then on the picture that I'm using, which I'll put up on the video, there is a timber roof which I've stuck together with the glue gun, and all I've done was measured from centre to centre on each pillar, and then measured up to the top, cut 4 equal triangles, glued them together, and they will sit on top like so. Okay, so that's that. And then just show you this, I've started on the actual beacon itself, made out of blue foam, 5mm segments, getting smaller and smaller as you go up. The actual beacon in the pictures I've seen are taller with less increments, but this is just to try and get this video out for you guys. I've just done a quick job. I will do a later one. The beacon will be removable from the piece. It will be made out of blue foam. It will be made in exactly the same way, but this is just a quicker version. As you can see, what I've done is started to carve the wooden logs, which it is. So each layer goes, the logs run in the opposite direction. So these logs are running this way, the next one will run that way, and then the next one will run this way again until we get to the top. So I'm just going to carve them in, and then that's going to sit inside like so, and the roof on top. There's still some more work to do on the roof, so what I'm going to do, I'll finish the carving of the logs, and I'll come back to you once I get onto the next stage of the roof. So here we go guys, that's your main structure. We've got the wood pyre for the beacon itself, which can be placed inside. Toying me the idea of being able to magnetise it or not, I'm not too sure. And then we have the roof structure, which basically just sits on top and you can glue that in place. I'm going to post some pictures on Facebook. If there's any questions that you need to ask, then do so. This is going to be part of a bigger structure, which I'll show on Facebook and a video if people want me to. But yeah, I'm glad you followed it along. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd really like to see the efforts that you guys have made. If you followed along, that'd be really interesting. Don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe. Keep on gaming guys. Take care. Bye bye.